Andy Truard has had a very fine indoor season. He's quite a story. Northern Arizona, you wouldn't expect them to be able to beat the powerhouses necessarily. Coach Mike Smith picked up off the great performances that they had from Coach Hines for years out there. They're up at 7,000 plus feet, and they wind up winning the NCAA championship in cross-country Division I. They've got some outstanding distance runners, and some of them are in this race.
25 laps of this 200-meter oval. They will stay in their packs until they get through this second full turn, and then they will combine.
Also in this race, Mike Tate, who is from Canada. My goodness, I can't remember ever talking at the NCAA championships ever about somebody from Nova Scotia, the little town of Antigonish out there, and he ran 3:50 in high school for 1,500 meters. He's at Southern Utah, one of the Thunderbirds on the team, and has just improved mightily as Tate, now a senior at Southern Utah, and said he went to school there because up at 5,000 feet, they'll go up to 7,500 to train at elevation, which he wanted, or down to 3,500 feet of elevation. He said, I love the idea of training at altitude like the Kenyans, but being able to go up and down, which they do also in Northern Arizona for training, interestingly enough. And they can be there within like 45 minutes on average. 67 seconds first lap.
Now this looks like just a fast jog at this point between Jacob Thompson and Vincent Kiprop, two SEC distance runners.
And you know, Dwight, let me touch on this one. This is very common at 3,000 and 5,000 meters. Once you make it here to the NCAAs, points count. Guys are happy to maybe try and run a 3 and run a 5 because they're at separate days. It's tough, and you're really tired the second day. But most coaches will say, if you want to run both, okay. And if you're on a top team, the coaches want you to run both. And so they make it slow, and then at the end or the last half of the race, they make it fast. Sometimes a guy will come and pick up the pace like is occurring now if he's only going to run one race and he's not running anything else. But it's not uncommon to see a sit and kick race. This is Rory Linkletter, the junior from BYU, who is, I think, one of the guys who could possibly be somebody in this race, in the sense, be there at the finish. They ran a 74-second 400. Oh my goodness. Like 5-minute mile stuff.
All right, with about 20 laps remaining in this 5,000 meters and the entire field reasonably punched up and everybody in it, let's get over to Dan O'Brien for an update on some field events. Dan? As we get back to the 5,000 meters with 17 laps remaining. And this is Rory Linkletter of BYU and Canada, who picked up the pace because he didn't like how slow it was going after about 3 laps. And he has continued to pace these guys through, but they're still not going very fast. It's about 14:35, 14:40 pace.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 43 seconds for the first full mile. Everybody understands the mile. You won't hear me talk 1,500 meters very often, or I'll convert it. I want to win fans rather than have people say, I'm not very educated in that. I don't know what that means. Anyway, Linkletter told me earlier yesterday, he said, you know, I really don't want a slow pace. I'd like to have somebody in the middle of the race pick it up, try and really push the pace. Well, it was so slow, he just decided to finally do something after a couple of laps, although this is not a fast pace for these guys.
And on that note, with a little more than 16 laps remaining, we're going to step aside from this 5,000 meters for a break. We'll be back with the finish right after this.
the Gilliam Indoor Track and Field Stadium, College Station, Texas. And a reminder, since we're watching day one here at the championships, that the 2018 Indoor Track and Field Championships finals are tomorrow, March 10th, 5 o'clock to 8:15 Eastern Time. In all, 24 finals, 11 for the women, 13 for the men, right here on ESPN3. Got a final on the track right now, men's 5,000. Back to Dwight Laird.
All right, John, 11 laps remaining, and not a lot has changed since we went away. It's still Rory Linkletter of BYU and Canada leading a somewhat slow pace.
Dwight, let me bring up a point right now that you're seeing. When a pace is slow like this, if you're a coach, you know, high school or whatever, counsel your guys to run on the inside of the track. You got plenty of time to make a move. Nobody's going anywhere right now. By running in lane 2 for a full mile, you're running at least 25 yards extra distance. Translation, an extra 3.5 seconds of time that you're losing that you don't have to lose. Now just look how many guys are in lane 2. Some are on the edge of lane 3.
But to illustrate another point, if they all try to run in lane 1 at this pace, there's no room to run.
You sit back and you get 10, 15 yards behind everybody because nobody's going fast anyway, and no one's going anywhere. When the pace really picks up, it's picking up now a bit, and it starts to separate, then that's a different story. But early in a race, when it's slow, sit back and tuck yourself in and run in lane 1.
So now it is Grant Fisher of Colorado State, the senior, who was 5th at the cross-country national championships earlier, or late last year, I should say. He has now picked up the pace. He's in front. Still in second is Mike Tate of Southern Utah and Canada. And Linkletter has now moved back to 4th. But Justyn Knight, it seems to me, even though they have picked it up, it still appears to me as he now comes rushing up from the outside. This is a race for him to win because the pace has been so slow. But with a little bit less than 8 laps remaining, pardon me, let's go over to Dan for a field event update.
Right, let me just bring everybody up to speed here. They went 4:48, another slow mile for the full 2 miles. Things are finally picking up right now with Vincent Kiprop out in the lead. I believe that is him. I should never say I believe. But in any event, the pace has finally picked up with 4 laps to go. This is reminiscent of what happened at Iowa at their state classic on an oversized track. 6 of the guys in this race all ran together, slow early pace, then they picked it up and ran a 4:13 last mile. And the man running right now in second place, Justyn Knight, the NCAA cross-country champion, was the victor in that race. All 6 guys who are in this race all ran within about 2 seconds of Knight at the finish, but it was a very fast last 600, 1 minute and 28 seconds that made the difference. Now things are going to cook from here.
Vincent Kiprop just does not want to give up the lead to Justyn Knight, and it is still Mike Tate of Canada and Southern Utah hanging in there in 3rd. As we come up to the bell, it is Justyn Knight with 200 meters remaining, who qualified easily earlier in the mile and has just sat back and bided his time, taking advantage of a slow pace throughout this entire time. But now it's a real foot race between Justyn Knight of Syracuse and Mike Tate of Southern Utah, who's been right at the front the entire time. Now the gap develops. It's Vincent Kiprop trying to make another run at it, but Justyn Knight has too big a head of steam and too big a lead. It is going to be the Syracuse junior, the cross-country champion, who also gets an indoor 5,000-meter NCAA title.
And the man who's got 357 mile speed made the difference. It's not only Cuse, it's Syracuse as well. And they have a very fine team up there, excellent in cross-country with head coach Chris Fox, who's had a great career as a distance runner himself. And Mike Tate did himself proud from the tiny town of Antigonish, Nova Scotia. The young man who participated in many different sports, the guy in second, always loved running first and chose Southern Utah and winds up with 6 big points for the school as Vincent Kiprop makes a very strong run to give Alabama 8 points and pile up some points here for head coach Dan Waters. Congratulations to Justyn Knight, due to run the 3,000 meters tomorrow.
So he'll have the mile and the 3,000 tomorrow, but today it's the 5,000 in which he wins the title. Vincent Kiprop really made a race of it the last mile or so by picking up the pace, and Hassan Abdi of Oklahoma State gets up in 3rd place. John?
Dwight, there is no I in team, there is no I in Justyn. Congratulations, you run 5,000 meters. Why'd you turn this into a 200-meter race?
I mean, I'm very confident in my foot speed. If you don't know this about me, my mom's Jamaican, so I got it in my legs to begin with, but I just figured I was prepared for either way, if it was a slow race or a fast race, and my coaches just got me ready for it.
Very good. You've got an NCAA cross-country title. How does that fit with the collection?
It's very nice. You know, it's my last year here at Syracuse. I've always dreamed of getting a track title. Come very close, too many times to count, but it means a lot to just bring it home for Syracuse.
Before I let you go, how much energy did you expend there with you got to come back tomorrow and run 3 more?
You know, I like to say I'm a big boy now. I'm 21 years old. I went to World Championships last year. I'm just going to do everything I can to be competitive tomorrow.
Very good, Justyn. He's 21, guys. He's a big boy. I have no idea what that makes the rest of us.
I hope my mom doesn't hear that, because she's going to put me right back down.
Dwight,